Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't got your membership, get your membership, y'all. It's not for $2, $3. Now, y'all, we're gonna get into our reaction today, and the reaction is going to be about our daughters are going missing, murdered, and overlooked. What are we going to do about it, ladies? So we're going to cover a couple of our daughters out there that is missing, overlooked, and murdered. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give y'all time enough to get in here. And the purpose of this content is to educate our young women of all colors and men, commenting, criticism, purposes. So I'm gonna give y'all a little bit more time to come in, but I'm gonna get started. Shout out to my workers. Shout out to all my members and my subscribers and the viewers who watches, and also my TikTokers, y'all. Let's talk. Let's talk, y'all. Come on, I need all my channels, ladies in here, all the ladies and the gents, especially all my ladies. I need y'all in here right now. I need y'all. I need y'all. I need y'all. All anybody. We got to do something, y'all. We got to meet up. We got to fight back. Because things are happening. Everything is happening for a reason. What are we doing wrong? What do we need to do to protect our daughters? What is it that we're not doing? Who are we listening to? So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to start with the first girl I'm going to start with is Alexis Wear. Now, Alexis Wear is a young lady went missing like almost 3 years. 3 years. And we don't know where she is. It's like limbo. Left in a limbo. We don't know. And you can't expect women, we got to understand this because these are our daughters. We have to and men. We have to understand that those people have protocols they have to follow. So that means that you're gonna have to go out there and look for your daughters. You're gonna have to put your boot on the ground. You're gonna have to look for your child, not the law look for your child. So we're gonna start with Alexis Ware, and then we're gonna work ourselves all the way up to Celeste Rivas. But we're gonna talk about we're gonna get into all of this because I'm sick of it. What is it that you're not doing? Okay, let's go.
Alexis Wear was last seen driving away from a 7-Eleven in Anderson County. Her car was later found near the Georgia state line, but she was nowhere to be found.
And that case remains open under the Anderson County Sheriff's Office. Tonight, her loved ones are pushing for more to be done, not only for her case, but for other missing person cases. Fox Carolina's Kennedy Harris has more.
Alexis Wear's mother says since her disappearance, their family has been left with constant despair. And now as they continue to push for answers in her case, they're also hoping to help other families through the Alexis Wear Act.
This case will be 3 years old with absolutely no type of resolve whatsoever.
Uncertainty and anguish, words Alexis Wear's mother used in a letter describing her emotions the last few years.
We know that some of our local municipalities do not have the resources to conduct a thorough investigation, and we believe that SLID would have the ability to do so.
Along with Alexis Wear's sister Community Act, presented Greenville legislators the Alexis Wear Act. The proposed legislation would allow families of missing persons to request SLED takeover cases which remain unsolved after 12 months. Along with the act, Wilson included a letter from SLED responding to Wear's mother's request for their assistance.
And one thing they say is that we cannot do anything because we have to be invited in. And that's been the problem. They haven't been invited in.
In In a statement from June, the Anderson County Sheriff's Office told us their detectives are immensely invested in Wear's case. It went on to say SLED and other agencies are aware of elements of the case.
They understand that it takes time. They understand the resources. They get all of that. But what they are completely upset with and didn't understand is that when it came to receiving meaningful communication with the investigator or the individual that's over that case, it was lacking. It wasn't there.
Wear's family is hopeful if a legislator sponsors the bill, it could help bring them and other families one step closer to answers.
The impact of Alexis's disappearance is not limited to our family alone. Her children are suffering immensely, grappling with the absence of their mother and the unanswered questions that hunt us all.
Carolina News.
Okay, now I want to start with Alexis Wear because Alexis Wear is our first hey Chad, it's first case that I have ever covered, and she's my oldest one missing out the group of the girls. Now let's go to our next girl. Let's go here. Alexis, Naziah Harris. Harris, she's missing. She was the same when she never been a runaway, but she's missing. And it's a lot going on in her case. Then y'all want to catch up with us with her case, you have to go on my channel and look at all the cases on her. But she's somebody's child. She missing. Now this lady gonna say she don't know who this happened in Detroit. They don't know who unalive her. Why are we letting these things happen to our daughters? What are we gonna do to protect our daughters, ladies? Now let's listen to Naziah. We know what happened to her, what he was doing to her allegedly, but they didn't say that he unalived her. So she was missing. Remember? Okay, and she wasn't but 13. I think Alexis Wear was the first one I showed you. I think she's the oldest one out the bunch. I think she was 29 or 30. I can't remember all that stuff, y'all. I have bills to pay. Now let's listen to are they overlooking what happened to Naziah? Did they overlook what happened to did they overlook what happened to Alexis Where somebody did? Cause you hear every parent saying that the officers are not doing that. But let's listen to this. Here goes Naziah Harris.
Driver's butts with one count of first-degree premeditated murder, one count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, and one count of child sexually abusive material.
Today you calling his name. She calling, hold on, y'all. She's calling his name. She said Jarvis Butts, but she's still not. Where is she though? Where's the body? Why are they doing our babies like that? What are we gonna do, ladies, to improve? And Jen, what are we gonna do to improve our status so we make sure don't nothing like this happen ever again? Okay.
Sexual conduct on two more girls, yes, girls, on two other separate cases. The girls in question now are 20 and 11 respectively today, but both were under the age of 13 years old at the time the offenses occurred that we're charging. We are charging that one victim who is now 20 years old, that from April of 2012
Read the title.
to 2014 is alleged that defendant Buck sexually assaulted the victim at a residence in Detroit. Further facts and evidence on that matter will be placed on the record at the preliminary examination. In that case, we charge Mr. Butts with criminal sexual conduct, one count in the first degree. Person under 13, defendant 17 or older. Okay, hey Demetrius, y'all go back and read the topic, okay? Okay, now they're talking about a 13-year-old girl named Naziah Harris. We working her case too, Demetrius. Y'all, hey Roland, what's up? Y'all, these are our daughters. In that case, we are also charging Mr. Butts with 3 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree. Person under 13, defendant 17 years or older. In the second criminal sexual conduct case, well, I guess the third, that we're charging today, we are alleging that the victim, who is now 13 years old, that from July 2015 through July 2017, we're alleging that he sexually assaulted residents of Detroit.
Now we just talking, trying to. We got to do better as parents, mothers, and fathers with our
Detroit.
kids.
And again, further facts and evidence will be developed at the preliminary examination. Defendant Butts have been charged with, in that case, one count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree. Child under the age of 13, Mr. Butts over the age of 17. Based on all the evidence that I've laid out now and much more that will be shown later in court, based on all these cases we will present in court, Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women who had to have sexual relationships with their young daughters. He would have relationships with their mothers, but his true desire was to have sex with their young daughters. That's what the evidence will show. He was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile. It's incredibly sad, incredibly unspeakable, and we want to bring justice to her and her family. I have to take this moment to say something to you. And this is not directed at all at Naziah's family, who by all accounts had many in her family that truly loved her. This is directed to everyone else listening to me now. We must be very careful who we let into our hearts and our homes and our lives, especially if you have children. We must be very careful who we have around our children and elders respectively. We must also be very careful.
You hear what that lady saying? Ladies, do y'all hear what this lady is telling y'all? Because we losing our daughters. We are losing our daughters. Because we can't make decisions like these men. They're our kids. They're our daughters.
We must be very careful who we let into our hearts and our homes and our lives, especially if you have children. We must be very careful who we have around our children and elders respectively. We must also be very careful who we leave our children with, even if they are in a relationship partners, family, and friends. I'll say that again. Even if they are relationship partners, families, or friends. Life can be hard enough at times, but when it comes to our children, we must be deliberative, we must be diligent, and laser focused on their safety. And sometimes we must make decisions about them and their lives that we may not like and that they may not like, but it's for the betterment of them and their safety and their future. When something doesn't feel right, even if it's just that voice in your head, it usually isn't right. And sometimes when we are attacked and we do everything right by our children, things can be children. But we must always ask ourselves at the end of each and every day, was I right by each member of my household in terms of their safety? Did I do? Of course, Mr. Brown guilty of each and every crime and count that we have charged today. We have been told this morning that the arraignment will be tomorrow, we think at 10:30 a.m. in the morning, but we don't
Now, how many times we don't heard that? Guilty until proven innocent until proven guilty. All right, there go another 13-year-old life is going. She 14. Now we ain't talking about now. We talking about when it happened to her. Okay, and then we're gonna look at our girl right here, the Kyra. This just happened. Allegedly, she got in the wrong car, but they overlook her case. She went missing. Remember? Then they showed y'all the video of what happened to her. Ladies and gents, we have to look after our daughters. We got to. Now let's listen to this. Now, DeCara, her name DeCara or DeCara. She's another girl that went missing. So what are you saying? So what? It wasn't my daughter. We can't. It's all of our daughters.
Percent of the U.S. population, but nearly 40% of all persons missing are of color. And what we're also realizing is that cases of our children times longer because of that disparity.
They're frightening statistics. But because I understand those statistics, because I understand what happens when our girls go missing, and I think that that's also what people were trying to get to on social media when they were making those posts. They were saying, we don't trust the law. Yeah. We don't trust the media to shine a light on our missing.
And I'll give you an example. We've had cases here in the District of Columbia, and the families outlets, and again, they were met with silence.
Prince George's
with those two cases with Janiyah, received a call from Janiyah's aunt desperately, pleading, can you please help me find my missing niece? And I was able to pick up the phone and call the news director for NBC4 and got that coverage. And then other news stations started covering their story. And guess what? Those young ladies were able to be found. There was a vigilante by and or young girls at a bus stop, and she recognized them from NBC's,
Do you see how they grabbing your kid? Y'all saying y'all depend on the school teachers, y'all depend on the bus drivers. No, you can't. Somebody need to be at that bus stop. I know you can't because you at work. But if you're at home laying, kick it out on the sofa, somebody need to be at the bus stop. We got to do better, y'all. We got to do better. The kids not.
Look, you have
Was we don't know if it would have made a difference in this particular case. And
Wow.
the response was, we made flyers, we passed out flyers, we did the things that we're supposed to do. What I got from that response, what he said, what I got was that, we followed protocol, and we don't know that had we done anything differently, it would have made a difference in this case. I can tell you that there was deep grief in his eyes when he said that.
Well, what question do you wish I would ask in those moments? They would ask questions with humility. Don't just assume that my daughter, my sister, my loved one is out getting high, decided that he or she doesn't want to be bothered with our family or with her family. She's taking a binge. Those aren't the questions to ask right at that point. I hope my colleagues hear that. I think that's a tough conversation in newsrooms, Derek. It is. It really is. Because I don't think we want to believe that we would do that. Well, you might not want to believe it, but it happens. And I'm not saying it happens everywhere, but it does happen. At the risk of airing our own dirty laundry, what is it you wish we would consider in our newsroom when we hear about a case like this? Whether it's a person of color or not, but especially when it's a...
We have to hold law enforcement accountable. That's what we should be doing. Like what we did in that morning meeting, when we were told, well, she's not considered critical. Well, what is critical to a mother? Yeah. What is critical to a father?
We really searched hard for the car. There is a man charged with her murder, and we don't yet know how that case will work out. And so the finger deserves to be pointed at whomever did this.
Yeah.
But I do think it's valuable to have that conversation on the proverbial Monday morning about what did we know when and did we speak up soon enough. And I'm glad you raised the issue.
Because can we do better? Can we do better? Because when it comes to missing people, we're a part of the rescue party.
There was a young lady by the name of Pamela Butler who went missing from the District of Columbia.
This isn't a club that anyone wants to be a part of. Oh, no, without a doubt. You wouldn't want your worst enemy in this club here. So how did it happen to you? My sister went missing in 2009, Pam Butler, and I wanted to make sure that she got news coverage, that the case would be solved. So what'd you do? Bug the hell out of all the news stations that I could. At this point, of course, we're starting to lose hope, but it's, anything could happen. But, it's been almost 2 months, so we are expecting the worst. How long did it take police and the system to solve your sister's case? 8 years.
8 years.
My sister's case, my sister's case was an extremely hard case to solve.
So are they overlooking these cases? So if we know how it is out here that they are going to overlook something, anything can happen to us, our babies, anytime. So what are we gonna wait till something happens and then do something? Or what are we gonna do? We got to do better, y'all. We got to do better and stop acting like we don't.
This guy had killed his first wife, so he kind of knew what he was doing. But he had worked with the Metropolitan Police Department to tell me, had my sister been a lot more at the very beginning. First police
Wow.
officer that came to the house, he walked in, and my sister was a neat freak. I mean, everything in her house had a place. Police officer came over, looked around, and he said, "But I don't really see anything. Um, doesn't look like a struggle or anything took place."
Everyone who's written about your sister's case since it happened gives you the credit for being so persistent and not letting people forget.
Right.
Why'd you do it?
Well, first of all, I love my sister. I love my family. And I wanted to make sure that my mother knew what happened to her daughter before she had passed.
Mm.
And she's still living now.
Not knowing every day, this is going to be the day, this is going to be the day.
I want to ask you again, how are you, or how convinced are you that your sister's race played a role in how long her case remained open?
You look at the detectives that were on the case, most of them had other things they were trying to do or working on. Some of the detectives that I would talk to seemed like they didn't know anything about investigating a missing persons case. We probably went through about 7 lead detectives on that case. And some of them worked real hard, and some of them didn't do absolutely nothing.
Who eventually did?
Michael Fulton. Michael Fulton. This guy, he got on the case, and in less than 3 months, and you got to remember the case had been going on for 7, almost 8 years at that point.
I think everybody was emotionally invested in getting justice. I was very familiar with the case, but what I was told was, hey man, this guy Derek, man, he's an advocate for his sister's case. He wants answers, and he has a direct line to the chief and direct line to the media.
What ultimately he would have wanted is to have his sister back, but you were able to get him an answer, at least,
for sure,
to his case. How quickly did you do it?
Just kind of sort of meticulously going through it. Every time you find something new, you go back and watch video because you see it from a different perspective. And when you see it from a different perspective, you end up seeing something else that's been there the whole time.
And in less than 3 months, he saw him.
I called him early in the morning, and I said something like, "We got them." I cursed, and he was like, "What?" And it was a good feeling. It's a good feeling.
I bet.
It's a good feeling, yeah.
But at what point do you realize then, hey, we need to go back to our case files and take a look?
So during this process was probably about a 1.5-year process as these sort of things were happening.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Derek. Derek was connected with Black and Missing, and he's talking about this organization, Black and Missing, and so I meet Derica and Natalie, and I'm talking to them, and sort of not realizing, sort of the disparity that comes when people of color go missing. It's a countrywide thing, and
Hey,
you think you
Leela.
understand something, but being a white male, I don't. I may think I understand, but Lord knows I didn't. I was like, I wonder if how many more of these cases do we have? Well, there's like 5 of them, so I collect them all, and I'm like, well, let's see what can be done with these.
And I think lights have gone off for me in reporting this issue,
sure.
but when did it go off for you, and what was it?
Well, for sure. So after the Unique Harris case and the discussions that we've had with Pam and Unique's family, as a unit, we're collectively talking to unit, and we're looking at what can we do better, and we're looking at our SOP of how these cases are supposed to be handled. We have to figure out a way to change that, and our SOP got changed to where if somebody gets reported missing and it's anything under suspicious circumstances, it comes right to our unit. And there's our unit, there's 9 of us. All of us are extremely experienced, and we have a lot more time. Since the SOP was changed, I think there's been 5 cases that have happened where people reported missing, and they came to us within 2 days. We were able to resolve them.
But these are hard conversations. They're hard conversations in newsrooms. I imagine they're equally hard in homicide squads or in police departments in a larger base. I mean, what is that reckoning like? What's the hard question you had to ask yourself?
Well, it wasn't hard for me. I mean, to do the right thing is do the right thing, and I've always found that.
Was it hard to believe that missing people of color were treated differently by police departments than white missing people?
I think it wasn't hard for me to believe. I think the 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 big disparity, like how like blatant it was the thing that was more shocking. And dealing with black and missing, it it's like, okay, things have to change, and and do the right thing.
So what are you doing different now that would have been great to do all along?
I think recognizing that, yes, you have teenagers that get mad at their parents and they run away and they're going to come back, but I think that that some of those cases, they're homicides, and they're victims that are never going to be found, and that if we the sooner that we put more resources to it, all our resources to it, the better our chances of solving it.
It's not easy though.
No, it's not. It's difficult.
Okay, y'all. So that was Dakara and the other lady name. I can't remember all these people we covered. Now our last body, now we got another body. It's so many bodies that they are missing when they find them. Look, they found her body, Celeste. Now they saying they got they don't know what, like they have somebody, they talking to them. Y'all, these girls are too young to be in anybody's streets at their age. So this is our last girl. Her body was missing. Remember, she was a runaway. Why is she running away? What can I do differently that I haven't been doing or had been doing so my child won't keep running away? Why is she in the back of a Tesla, a car? Why is she even in Hollywood and she don't live there? So y'all, we got to make change. This is for real. These things happening, and it can happen at any given time.
Rivas Hernandez to her family. The missing Lake Elsinore teen was found in the trunk of an abandoned Tesla linked to rising star David. Now, so many questions remain unanswered, including Celeste's connection to David, how she died, and how she ended up in the trunk of that Tesla.
KTLA Sandra Mitchell looks at David's actions in the weeks and months before Celeste's body was found. She is live in Hollywood, Sandra.
Micah, it has now been more than 2 weeks since the mutilated body of that teenager was found. This case just keeps getting stranger. Fans now say that at some of his concerts, David actually performed with a coffin and funeral flowers on the stage. Still tonight, no arrest in the case.
No arrest.
From the trunk of a Tesla to her family in Lake Elsinore tonight, the body of teen homicide victim Celeste Rivas Hernandez has been released by the LA Medical Examiner. That development means the coroner has completed the autopsy and lab test in the case and likely has determined the cause of death. Still, there are no arrests in the case linked to R&B singer David. Sky 5 was overhead earlier.
No arrest, y'all. This can be your child. No arrest. But they got all the information that they need in Hollywood.
This month, when the 15-year-old's mutilated body was found in the Tesla registered to David. Police have not named him as a suspect, but family members apparently have said she had a boyfriend named David, and the two appear connected in their online posts and photos.
It's kind of surreal seeing, someone grow up and then just right before your eyes they're gone.
It's been almost 1 week since LAPD homicide detectives searched the singer's rental home in the Hollywood Hills. LAPD confirming to KTLA that several items of evidence were recovered and that they are, quote, following up on several leads.
This really hits home as a mom, and this could have been anybody's kid.
Sunday night, a large crowd gathered for a candlelight vigil near Celeste's childhood home in Lake Elsinore. Hernandez disappeared in early 2024 when she was only 13 years old. Her family and LAPD not talking about the case. Fans note some of David's music.
Why aren't LAPD talking about the case?
Is macabre. He performs in what looks like a bloody shirt with lyrics like "I killed you and I didn't even regret it." This song from David features a music video released in February. It shows a body being dragged